Hi, I'm John McDougall, and today we're going to be talking about how to do competitive analysis and authority marketing with SEMrush. And I wanted to share that SEMrush is the tool I use the most in all of digital marketing, and I do use a lot of tools. I use it for keyword research, both organic and paid, and all of the prospects that I'm talking to. I always want to get a fix on where someone's website is coming up, especially in organic search. How many keywords are driving traffic, etc. So SEMrush is just an indispensable tool. I use it for looking at changes over time in ranking, diagnosing penalties from Google, looking at big competitors, small competitors, etc. And if you have any questions, feel free to chime in with them, and we'll answer them at the end, unless it's something urgent. And today we have a very special presenter, Martin Weinberg, the Director of Marketing at SEMrush. Welcome, Martin.
John, thank you very much, and thank you for hosting us here today.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Great. Just a reminder that everyone that registered for this webinar is going to receive a promo code for a free 2-week trial of SEMrush at the guru level, and I'll talk about later what's involved with that. So to get started, I'm always looking for interesting ways to share the SEMrush story. SEMrush is a platform that's rich with a variety of tools and features, and people are always looking for kind of a sense of like a path through it. How do you make sense of it? How do you create a plan out of it? And when John and I got in touch, he shared with me his website, authoritymarketing.com, and I looked at it. It was a great collection of resources. And I particularly liked the infographic, the roadmap. And it just really struck me that it's always nice to have a plan, to have a direction in where you're going. And then when we were talking about doing this webinar, I realized that that roadmap is a really nice framework for telling the SEMrush story, and it would be really appropriate here as a guest of Authority Marketing and McDougall Interactive. So at the heart of it, basically there's two objectives that we want to do. Actually three. That we want to make sure that when we're doing search marketing, that the content is a good match for their needs. People are out there, they have their problems, their opportunities, their questions and thoughts, and we want to make sure that we're making a good match so by the time they get to our site, they're actually glad to have found it. And also once they get there, we want to make sure that they want to learn, well, what else we have to offer. So if we can get them there, make them happy they found us, and then inspire them to take the next step, then we've really done our job in this realm of search marketing. So the first step on the Authority Marketing Roadmap is define your niche or niche. Basically, where do you fit in the scheme of things? So when you talk about search marketing, obviously, if you're XYZ company, and somebody types in XYZ company in Google, well, that's kind of a gimme. I mean, that's more of a measure of your PR, your branding, and just kind of your awareness. But if we're looking to gain new prospects to build our business, we need to not connect so much with the people who know who we are, but the people who are interested in what we do. So that's one area. How do we define that? What terms are we using around that? The second area is, well, how are competitors positioning themselves in the same arena? How are we positioned against the competition? And then what strategies are the competitors using for search marketing? So when you're doing search marketing, whether it's organic or paid, I mean, you can discover what works just by experimenting. You try some things and you wait. Of course, it takes time and resources, especially, though, with organic search, where you research, you make your changes, and then you got to wait. You got to wait for Google to process this and do the Google dance and figure it out, and then if your efforts really paid off or not. But if there's another approach, which is if we could reverse engineer what's already working for your competitors, and then try to determine if some variation of that could apply to our own business. This way, you've got a running start with something that already has a track record, and you have a better chance of getting results, or at least more confident in your results for the organic side, and maybe an opportunity to save some money and spend more wisely on the paid search side. So for our examples, we're going to make believe that we're working with a company called Insightly. So Insightly is a CRM, and they have a number of features, contact management and sales opportunities, and they do accounting integrations and so forth, and it's pretty full featured. And you can get a sense of the target markets they're going after here. And also, so they've got a pretty well-featured website, and then they also have a blog with a lot of great content. So they've been around a while. So we're going to use that as a basis. And their competition really is interesting because in the CRM space, it's a mix. It's a mix of really large players, you know, the Salesforces of the world, some medium-sized players, and also some small companies. And it's the kind of space where, especially if you're targeting, you know, small to medium-sized businesses, you know, it's all SaaS-based. If you have some great features and the right price point, you know, you may have a chance to enter this market. And interestingly enough, Insightly also has another kind of competition, which is what people do when they don't have a CRM. They're using a spreadsheet, they're using some manual means, or Trello, or like whatever. So the competition isn't just companies, it's what people do, it's their mind share, it's what are they thinking about. So, so with SEMrush, it's always good to start with just getting a general overview. So for example, here on the main dashboard site, I'm just going to enter in Insightly, and let's enter in, let's see, Zoho.com, they've been around a while, and ProsperWorks is a newer entry. Oops, there we go. And let's throw in one more, let's see, Sugar, CRM. Okay, so you see instantly we're starting to get some visibility into all of these sites. And one thing about SEMrush, if you see a data point, click on it, because that'll probably take you to something that's a drill down or more detail about that data point that you just clicked on. So again, you know, this is just to kind of give you the heads up. You're coming in, you can kind of see kind of general directionally, and if there's certain competitors that are really laser targeted in your sites, you know, you can keep an eye on what's going on with them. So let's focus on our own site for a minute. All right, so this is just going to give you a general feel of where you've been and where you're going, and you're getting a sense of the organic keywords mixed, and all of these, it's kind of like a dashboard. There's nothing that's going to be like particularly actionable looking at this view, but it's the entry to get down further, and especially as you're checking out different competitors, you really see what's going on. So to just take a little overview, again, all these data points you can click through to get more details. You're getting a sense of direction of paid search and organic search traffic and the backlinks coming in. You're getting some trend analysis, which anytime you see these kind of charts, you can look at it over different time frames. Back to as when we first started creating. So here you can definitely see a trend. I mean, these guys are on the move. They're going in the right direction. The other thing is, you know, as we track notes of what's going on in Google, we're noting times of high activity. So if you're seeing movement in your search traffic in Google Analytics, you can come here and see, well, is there some kind of correlation between Google making changes and impact to your site or not? There's a competitive position map showing based on the amount of keywords and where the rankings are, you know, how you fit in the scheme of this, and you can click on any of these to drill down for more information. Now we get into the analysis of some paid keywords, which obviously there's some intersection, but there's differences between the organic. And then your main paid competitors, and we'll get into more detail on this a little later. But obviously the people who are your competition in advertising might not be your competition in organic search. Here is pulling out some sample ads, which is great. I mean, how many times you're looking at a competitor and saying, gee, it'd be great to see all their ads, maybe get some ideas or position against them. Here's backlinks coming to the site, domains that are referring into the website, and sample text ads, and even sample display ads. So again, you're checking out some competition, and you can really get a flavor for what they're up to and what they're doing. And what happens is sometimes So let's do the same thing for ProsperWorks, assuming there are competition. So now we're getting all the same great information. And we're noticing some interesting trends. We noticed that paid traffic spend has ramped up considerably lately. Maybe they got some funding, who knows? And here's all that same information, but about our competition. So you can look at this and you say, well, I can get a lot of this in Google Analytics about my own site. Yes, but you don't have this kind of insight into your competition, and now you get that view. So basically, your competition, that as you know, it might be different than the competition organically. So, for example, here are what SEMrush considers the organic competitors. And anytime you're going to review like this, first of all, you always get the count of how many you're seeing and what's the total. There's tooltips pretty much everywhere. So you just hover over things. So if you hover over a field header, and you get an explanation, because there's a lot of data points here, so it really helps to remember. Also, typically you can click on it and it'll sort both directions. So here we're looking at, these are websites that have common keywords with Insightly. So that's interesting, because if they have common keywords, we're competing in the top 20, page 1 and page 2, basically, for each of these terms. So, and remember, we can always do the same thing for our competition. So we take a look at Capsule CRM, and we see here are the terms that they are ranking for, the positions, the amount of search volume, and so forth. So talking about some of these, obviously this is the position in Google, and this is the amount of average number of users we're expecting in a given month. This is the keyword difficulty. So this is taking an analysis of the people that are ranking for this term, looking at their domain authority and other factors, and figuring out, well, how difficult would it be to get ranked for these terms. The cost per click is the average estimated cost if you had to purchase this term. So for example, if something has a high CPC and a lower keyword difficulty, you think, you know what, this might be worth ranking for because it's really valuable. Maybe we can save some money on paid search if we can rank high enough for it. Here's the URL that keyword is getting traffic for, and also most URLs have a little outbound link, so you can click on that and we can see the page that's actually getting that traffic. This is the percentage of their overall spend based on that keyword, and this is competitive density. So competitive density is basically how many people are vying for that keyword in paid search. So I mean, this could be a seesaw. If you're looking to buy this term as a paid search term, you may say, well, that's going to be pretty competitive. It's going to be expensive. Let's see. Or you may say, you know what, I could rank for that organically, and obviously people are paying for it, so it's worth something. So let's go for it. Total search results, you get a little trend graph, and also we snapshot the SERP where we found that term show up. So this is the actual search results page. We saw it. We highlight the result so you can really drill in and understand what's going on. So the one thing about this is CapsuleCRM.com. We want to understand how they're doing in search. All right. So let's take a look at these results. Capsule CRM, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, a lot of branded terms. So wouldn't it be great if we can get rid of those branded terms and just focus on more of the competitive terms that we might be interested in? So pretty much anytime you see a list in SEMrush, you get these filters. And the filters are very powerful. And as we go along, I'm going to share with you some cool techniques about how you can use these filters to get some real insights, not just data. So let's exclude anything containing capsule. And as you can see, you can have multiple filters and they all stack one on top of each other. Okay, so we go down and we're still getting some caps stuff, so let's just make it caps. All right, now we have an interesting list. Here are terms that maybe I want to consider Google Apps CRM, free CRM software, free online CRM, CRM affiliate. So, depending on what's going on in our business, obviously not all of this is going to be applicable. If our company doesn't have an agreement with EchoSign, obviously that's not going to be useful to us. But the whole idea is you're getting ideas along the way. And not only you're getting ideas, but you're seeing what's the nature of those ideas. How competitive is it? How well is the competition doing? Is it worth going after, and so forth? Okay, so the next step obviously is to get found. And when we're doing that, we're trying to find the areas that are worth creating content about, and also then find that content and then optimize it for search. So if we type Google CRM Software, which is one of the keywords we saw on the other page, we're seeing a couple of interesting things. First of all, this is just the overview, but then you can have phrase match and related keywords. So one of the related keywords is Google CRM. We say, well, gee, our company really integrates well with Google as well. So I'm going to click on that, and now we're drilling down into here. And now we can go to phrase match for Google CRM. And what we have is a really great collection of variations of that term. So in kind of a post-Panda, post-Hummingbird environment, we want to have a good mix. We don't want to just stuff the same keyword in over and over again. So then how do we express the same idea in a way that's semantically related, but it's not going to trigger any issues. So in addition to phrase match, we can go to related keywords. So some of these are the same, some of these are different, but again, we're getting some different ideas. Free CRM Google Apps. Maybe we offer a free trial, but we're not really putting that in the content on the pages we want to target. CRM that integrates with Gmail. That particular phrase. So so when we do this, you can really start drilling down on any of these. So I'll click on one, and now we're getting even more related keywords. And then for any of these, you can view the SERP, CRM Google integration, for example, and see who's showing up there. You can also export these lists to a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. And a lot of these data reports you can export to Excel for further analysis and crunching and doing more winnowing down of where you want to focus and start to work with these. So the question is, so where else can we get some good ideas in SEMrush? So if we're looking at the competitors report, back to here, we go to Capsule CRM. Okay, so we see the common keywords. I'm going to click on that. And now that takes us to the domain versus domain report, which is very useful in a lot of interesting ways. Let's get back to where I'm going here. So domain versus domain allows you to compare what you're doing against your competition in a number of different factors. So what you're looking for, obviously, is a sweet spot, always with terms that have good volume and are also popular with advertisers. Basically, higher competitive density, lower keyword difficulty. Again, if you're focused on organic. So in here, you can play with the intersection. All the keywords just unique to the first. You can compare organic versus paid. You can put in multiple domains. And you're getting, again, listed the volumes and the keyword difficulty and so forth. So let's look at some interesting ideas. Let's say we're in domain versus domain. And we said, you know what? Let's find all the keyword terms where our competitor is less than 11, i.e. on page 1, but we are greater than 10, which means page 2. So if we do that, now we're getting some interesting ideas where they're all page 1, and we can see where we are, and then maybe even sort by that and see where we're getting close, and then start to develop some ideas around that. So already here we're getting some interesting ideas. There's there you go. CRM Sales Pipeline. They're on number 9. We're on 42. Support CRM. They're at 7. We're at 76. Maybe these are features we have. We just haven't really talked about them in a way that's going to attract the attention in the SERPs. But our competition did. So we can start to take a look at that. And, how are they targeting it? How are they building content around it? And get some great ideas. So here's another idea. Let's say we went to this little Venn diagram and we said we only want the keywords that are unique to the first domain, which in this case we put Capsule CRM first. And we said, I only want volume greater than 99, and I want to exclude caps, so I try to get rid of all the branded terms as much as possible. So you see how you can kind of mix and combine these filters to start getting an idea. Pretty much if you can think of like, boy, wouldn't it be great if we knew X and Y, and then model it here in SEMrush. So here we are, basically with terms that are exclusive to our competitor, that we're nowhere on. Now, again, these may or may not be applicable to us, but we can look down here and see, you know what, maybe import contacts to Google. Maybe we do that, and we can write some content around that and at least start getting on the map, because right now we're not on the map. And again, you could take this report and you can export it to Excel or CSV. You can export everything or just the first amount. We can create custom reports for you as well, and then start working with it. But the purpose of this tool really is just trying to give you some sense and visualization of where you are with your competition and where they're winning and where there might be an opportunity for you. So as we go through here, we're collecting this list of keywords along the way that have interest to us. And in the keyword analytics, we have a keyword difficulty tool. So what I have here, I've pre-filled in these keywords. And by the way, before I go on, just notice I dragged the URL here. This page with this search, even with all this data in here, it's all contained in the URL. So why is that valuable? Pretty much any report and report result, even after you start typing in information, is contained within the URL so that you can bookmark it, you can easily share it, and go back to it and work with it. Put the link in a report, in a Google Doc, or a spreadsheet, or wherever you're working. So when you're doing something somewhere else and you want to reference this result you got, then you can just click on the link and you're right back to here with all the same information already built in. You don't have to recreate it from scratch, which is especially good because this information is updated all the time. Some of these places in SEMrush, it's live data. Like you click on it and that's it right there. Other places it might be 6 hours or a couple of days ago, depending on the nature of it. Okay, so back to the keyword difficulty tool. So here's some keywords we've identified from our competition that might be interesting. And we click show difficulty and boom, here they are. So we're getting a sense of how difficult it would be to rank, what the search volume is, how worth it is to go after it. And also the knowledge graph, like which ones are getting featured snippets, which ones are getting the carousel. So this kind of information can be valuable when you're working at your strategy. Maybe you say, you know what, I want to go after something, and I want to go after that featured snippet so that I get the featured snippet instead of my competition. So another place you can get ideas is the SEO Keyword Magic tool. So here I typed in Google CRM, and what it's doing is it helps you discover brand new keyword opportunities. So, we just went through a number of ways where kind of you very intentionally are going through the tool and setting up filters and looking at these things and considering them all. The SEO Keyword Magic tool does some of this kind of automatically for you to some degree. So it's factoring in things like cost per click and the volume, the keyword difficulty, the competition level, the SERP features that are involved. So you can start to get some ideas, and then you can export them to Excel, or you can add them to a keyword analyzer so that you can create your own list of keywords and work with them elsewhere. And then you can even do individual ones. So then you can even say, I only want volume from, let's say, 500 to and up. So there you go. That's the only one. So the next step in our roadmap is if you're writing a book. So let's say on your website you've created a ton of content and you realize, oh my God, I've got enough to like put together at least one book. So now you want to determine like what articles are the most popular, because those are the articles you'd certainly want to include in your book and maybe expand on that content. So you start asking questions like, well, which content is the most popular and how to optimize it even further. Now, truly, I mean, the first question you can answer by going to Google Analytics about your own website. But wouldn't it be great if you can answer that question about your competition's website? What content on their website is actually the most popular and why, and figure it out, and maybe say, you know what, it's popular. Let's create our own version of that topic without copying them. So we want to know, in a sense, what's working well for your competition. So we're going to go take a look at, in the organic research, the pages section. So these pages are the most popular. Obviously, the home page is pretty popular for sure. So this is the other side of it. We're looking at keywords. Now we're looking at the content. And then from here, we get some content and optimization ideas. So if we go to, let's see, searching for ones that have Google Apps in it. So this is the page. And we can see that there's 0.85% of all the web traffic they get is because of this page. And there's 308 keywords that are driving traffic to it, somewhere in the top 100. So if we click on that, actually before we do that, I want to go back 1 second. Just remember, anytime you hear at the page, you say, well, I want to see that page. You just click on the outbound link, and this is it. So you can take a look at it, familiarize yourself, and see, well, what's this magic they have that's getting them all this traffic? All right, so we'll go back to this. Okay, so now we can see for this page what keywords are most responsible for driving traffic to it. So Capsule Google Apps, all right, we'll give them that one because they're Capsule CRM. But Google CRM is there. Google Apps CRM, Google CRM Software, Google Apps Free CRM. There's like 4 great variations there. They say, wow, you know what? Maybe it wouldn't be too spammy to put all 4 of those variations on one page. And we're starting to get some good semantic spread on our content here. And we're starting to target this area that's driving traffic to this very popular page. Another thing you can do is search by competitive density. And we come up with some ones like CRM integrated with Gmail, free Google Apps CRM. We're getting another picture of it. So 1.0, that's the most competitive. Like, people are paying up for these terms. So again, we took a look at some ways that we could optimize it maybe for organic search or some longer tail keywords. And now we're getting something that's got some real value because people are paying up. Okay, next step on the road is maximizing publicity. So you have your website, you've got some great content, you turned it into a book, and now you want to get the word out. So obviously organic search, it's not always instant, sometimes more instant than others. But with paid search, it's an opportunity to create instant frequency and reach. And when we do this, though, we're putting out our ad budget. We want to learn from our competitors as much as possible. And also, while we're doing that, we're taking a look at the paid search, we might get some great content and keyword ideas that'll help us out with organic search. So a great place to start is to learn from our competitors' advertising. So we put in our own site here in Sitely, and we see, now here's our competition. Now, you probably don't recall from when I was showing it earlier, but this is a different list of companies. And the one thing that struck me first was when you look at the common key, sorted by common keywords, I mean, forget about Google, but Sage, QuickBooks Online, Xero, Intuit, Compare Accounting, they're a CRM company, but they have this accounting integration. Oops, let me go back to it Sitely, which they really tout with both with QuickBooks and Xero. So obviously, they're trying to get the attention of people who are interested in that aspect and say, hey, if you're using these, we have a CRM for you. So by doing this, you can get a sense of like, where is our competition's focus? Obviously, Insightly's right now is very much in the accounting integration area. If we take a look at ProsperWorks, for example, though, you can see that they're targeting more. So we're comparing ProsperWorks and Insightly, and these are the ones that are common to both. They're definitely targeting more of the kind of the straight ahead CRM with a real Google integration focus. So if we go to, let's see, free CRM, down. Okay, so we're still in the, so we're in the paid area. We can look at the ads history for this. And these are the people that bid on free CRM and created a Google ad. So for example, here's Zoho. If we click on it, we can actually see the ads that they ran. This is incredibly useful. My gosh, if you had to do this manually, just going into Google and typing in free CRM over and over again, I mean, you're going to see a couple of ads, and that's it. And Google will probably keep showing you those couple of ads after a while. Maybe they'll show you a different one. Now you have access to like all of your competition. And so here's Salesforce, free CRM. Now, we know that most of these companies here, it's not completely free, but they're targeting it because why? You're starting out not with people looking for Salesforce or Insightly. You're starting out with their problem, their opportunity, their question, their thought. Is there a free CRM out there? Okay, well, maybe it's free for one user, or maybe it's free for a certain period of time. But we got their attention, and if the ad is enough to invite people to come in, then the mission was accomplished. So let's say we say, okay, you know what? Let's take a look at Zoho, and we want to see just all the ads that they're running across all the keywords we can find. Here's the ad copies that are out there, and then by clicking on it, we can actually see the keywords that brought up this ad. So that's very interesting for a couple of reasons. One of them is it's very useful if we're doing paid advertising. We want to know. First of all, we don't want to consciously or unconsciously plagiarize somebody else's ad. That won't be good. Though we might get an interesting idea, we can pivot off it, have like an answer to it or kind of the alternate side. We might get an interesting idea about the structure, about the way they're phrasing this. But once you're in here, you can look at the average keywords, what block they were on, what's the trend, when we saw the ad last, and then really start to get a flavor of, okay, when's their competition advertising heavy and when they're not? Maybe it's pulsing on and off. Maybe we can start getting out there when they're pulsing off, and then we have an opportunity to get a lower CPC because there's not as much competitive density. So these are the kind of insights that you can get from that. So the position changes report, this works for both organic research as well as advertising research. But once we're in here, we could see that for Zoho.com, here's the keywords they're targeting, and here's the average position. And so if we could see that, let's say Basecamp went up 5, that means that since the last time period, they're starting to invest more money in this term. Maybe they see an opportunity, something to look at. So we start to take a look at this, and again, we get a further idea of trends. The other thing is we can go to the landing page. Now, landing pages often don't show up in organic search, a lot of times by design. Sometimes a good webmaster who's kind of protecting and sculpting the organic outlook of the whole site says, you know what, let's leave the landing pages out of there because we're not going to rank for them anyway, or maybe we don't want to rank for them, so we're going to robot text them off or no follow them or something. So, but here now, we could see without having to cost poor Zoho, 57 cents or whatever, we're taking a look at the landing page. and we see how they're positioning themselves directly against their competition. So this is, again, a great way to get ideas for the landing pages themselves, and also see how effectively or not effectively the competition is doing in this regard. Because maybe they have ads and they stop the ads or whatever, but the landing pages weren't any good. So they're not going to have success and they're going to back off. Might not mean that those terms aren't good or the ads aren't good, but it just wasn't closing the deal on the landing page side. So if we want to see how we're doing against our competition, here's the same competitor's view, but now we're looking at the paid version. And note also, for a lot of these reports, you can look at the desktop version and you look at the mobile version. And it might be different depending on, is your competition targeting mobile users as well? Maybe they're definitely not targeting mobile users. Maybe the platform isn't really set up for that, or they don't want to go after that, or they don't feel it's appropriate context for the business they're in, and so forth. The other thing is, whenever you're in any of these reports in SEMrush, a lot of them have tutorials. So you're wondering, like, well, what is this report? Like, what's behind it? So most of them we have like this great 2-minute video. You can watch it and get a nice overview, and so forth. So again, we're here again. So let's Zoho. Here's the common keywords between us and Sitely and Zoho. So now it's the same domain versus domain, although now instead of organic, it's paid keywords. And so we can start playing around with the column headers and see, okay, here's all the ones where we're number one, and where Zoho's number two, number one, number two, number one, number two. So they're right there with us. So it's, what the meaning is behind that. You dig down further. You start to look at, maybe there's keywords that we don't need to target as strongly. And then you start to get some insights and a direction for that. Okay, so you have your book, you're running ads, you're getting some attention. Now it's time to go out and do live events and get in front of people, whether it's in person or online. So you want to track the results of your activity in social media and on websites. So taking a look at things like social media responses in Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Are you getting backlinks or even brand mentions? Maybe somebody's talking about your brand. It's not necessarily a link, but it's out there. So, as a result of kind of like the broader PR work and getting in front of folks, you're starting to get some response out there, and tracking that is a good sense of direction of if it's going in the right way. So for doing that, we have something in SEMrush called Projects. And Projects is a great way to put together a collection of reports about a particular domain and their competition. So for example, if you have an agency, you're not doing this necessarily for yourself, but you're doing this for clients, you can create one project per client and just have all this information right at your fingertips. So what's nice about that is because you're putting in information up front, SEMrush will go out there and custom grab this information and give you reports on it, so you can see how things are developing over time. So for social media, we're getting this overview, and we put in the competition of Gate 1 Travel and Smart Tours. These are travel companies. You can look at it for different time periods. So we can go back for the past 60 days, let's say. You can understand what content on these 3 channels got the most engagement. Well, I mean, that's really interesting. So we can take a look at this and just go right to the post that they put. Not now. So again, you never know what's going to strike the fancy of the audience out there. So if we can see in a couple of ways, this gives maybe people in your organization who are not part of the social media team a window into what's going on, just the highlights. Sometimes somebody just wants to know, well, just tell me what's working, or tell me like the best things that are out there. Obviously, these platforms have great analytics components to them, and there are dedicated social media analytics applications out there, but this is all contained within SEMrush and really gives you like the total picture. So we can drill down a little more and we can see the top posts, which got the most engagement. I can skip to competition and again go directly to the posts. I can just say, just show me link posts or photos or videos. Same thing with Twitter and Instagram and so forth. So now we get a sense of the trend and the activity for us as well as our competition. Which could be interesting. So it's just kind of a level of kind of activity and accomplishment within this realm. Now backlinks, still an important thing. And what we do at SEMrush is, we can analyze backlinks directly. Although, if you connect it to Google Search Console, which I can't because I don't work at Insightly, you're going to get even more links and more integration in here. So it's just a matter of dropping a little snippet of code and connecting it up, and it all works fine. So we'll audit this, and we'll identify links that might be in the toxic link. We'll show you the type of link it is, whether it's branded or combination, organic, and so forth. And then you can take these and you can move them to a list, a disavow list or remove, or if you want to improve the link, you want to reach out to the webmaster and say, hey, we changed your information, or could you link here instead of there? So what we've built is a workflow here where you can start to work through your backlinks and improve them and figure out, how you can shape this end of it, and also a sense of a high-level reporting on all this as well. In addition, once you connect everything, you can upload your own disavow list if you had other link building tools, and just kind of shape this as you go. So in addition to backlinks, we also do brand monitoring. So for example, this is the brand monitoring for Sugar CRM, which would be a competitor to Insightly. And then once you're here, you can favorite them, you can tag it, you can say whether it was a good mention or bad mention. You could, of course, click on the link and see the page that the mention was on, because maybe you say, hey, they mentioned our competitor in a little list here, Salesforce, Sugar CRM, Zoho. Okay, we got Insightly, good, we're there, check. But if not, it would be a definite email to the webmaster saying, hey, you listed all these guys, how about us? So typical brand monitoring type of thing. And again, because it's part of the project, it's always running, it's always updating. You can see trends over time to see if you're going in the right direction. So you're getting both the high-level overview and also you're getting the very granular as well. So the last step on the authority marketing roadmap is tracking it. Now, I guess you could say everything in SEMrush is analytics at the end of the day, but really we're looking at a couple of meta ideas. One of them is, we want to watch the changes in our site over time, and also, if we can, be aware of changes in Google over time, because see, is there a correlation? Is there not for our industry, for everybody? Did they just shake everything up? Why did our search rankings go up or down? So in SEMrush, we have the ability to create custom charts and custom reports, which I'll show you in a moment. So first, in the project section, here's the dashboard for a project, and you're really getting kind of like the big overview. And again, in SEMrush, you see a data point, you click on it, and you're down into the details of it. So, for example, this is the site audit, so that you could see how your page is doing as far as kind of on-page SEO issues, things that might be easily fixed. These have the same meta description. Click a button, sends it to Trello, webmaster picks it up, takes care of it. You're getting some workflow going on. Another opportunity is to keep track of position changes over time. So here's improved and declined keywords. These are keywords that have entered or left the top 100, and also what the position difference was. So for example, here's ones that have improved. The last time we checked, it was at position 35. Now it's on 29, so it's moving up. All right, maybe signing Google is not so important, but free CRM Google, hey, we went from 7 to 4, we went up 3. And again, just by sorting and searching, we can see what are the fast movers, or even look at the opposite direction. Which ones are we losing search rankings for? And is it worth doing something about or not? How much volume is there out there? And start to make some decisions. So it's one thing to say, oh, well, we're getting less search traffic. Let's but which keywords should we go after? Which ones are really going to help our business? And again, just as importantly, we can get the same information for our competition. If you have to do this manually, it would be next to impossible. So now you have a power tool. You can kind of see where's your competition going up and down, where are they on the move, what's the volume, and what might be worthwhile going for you as well. And a new tool that we just added to SEMrush, and it's an open beta now, is SEMrush Sensor. So this is taking a look at, it monitors the daily Google SERP volatility, and it alerts users when we have a significant disturbance in the rankings, which could be a sign that there's a Google update occurring. And now we realize, a lot of specialists use more than one tool. There's Mozcast and Algoroo and AccuRanker. And one nice thing about having this SEMrush sensor here is, we're offering this tight integration with other tools that are going on here. So we're going to get some interesting information. And also, you can look at it via desktop or via mobile. So already here, if you look at the chart here, watch the chart move. So there's different updates happening at different times to the different platforms. The other thing is, we can go back in time and also look at different categories. So if we want to look at, let's say, internet and telecom, we can see the volatility for that. And also just kind of get a quick glance of which categories are more volatile than others. So there's, in addition to all those charts we've seen so far, there's a dedicated charting tool, which is great if you have, especially if you have to prepare a custom report for a client or just really for your own indication. We wanted to, and you have all these parameters you can work with. So let's say we wanted to see, well, what are the improved keywords that we had versus the ones that our competition had, and we can map it out. And we can see kind of this interesting dip here in December, and then we're doing a whole lot better than our competition, at least in the past couple of months. All right, so that's good. You can save it as a PDF. You can add additional charts. You can make a copy of it. And this is very useful, again, to get perspective, again, over different time frames and start to see directionally where things are going. Are we moving in the right direction, especially compare with the competition? Or maybe we're all going up, we're all going down, and that tells us something too. It's showing interest in the space. And then the last feature I'll share with you here is reporting. So the reporting feature is very flexible. You can create a new report using many of the data points that we took a look at, put it together in a PDF, have it automatically updated, and then have it automatically sent out via email to either you or your coworkers or your clients. So I'm just going to create a report from a template just to give us a running start. And we'll put our own in. Sightly, we want the US database. By the way, SEMrush has databases in a number of countries around the world. So if you're targeting another country for international SEO, or you are in that country, you have an opportunity to see the search results from that version of Google as well. Okay, so we're going to create the report. And here it is. So as you can see, you're in a very editable environment. All of these are modules you can drag and drop and so forth. And then when you go here, we can bring in custom modules. Sightly, last 7 days, sort position, show hide. Okay, boom, there it is. Keyword rankings. And then we can always go back in and edit those again. And then once we're all done, we can generate a PDF report. We can add in custom headings and texts and images. So we can really make this fancy if it's worthwhile for you to do so. And while it's great to do that deep dive in SEMrush, you just get lost for hours and and discover new opportunities. Sometimes even yourself, you just want to line up the areas that you want to just kind of keep tabs on. Come in here, you make a report, and it just gets sent to you automatically. If nothing else, once a week or whatever, it's reminding you that here's the data, and go back in and take another look and see what's going on. So, in closing, I just want to emphasize, at SEMrush, we really believe that every keyword is a competition and every search result's a competitor. And we're committed to helping marketers like you succeed in search by leveraging this competitive intelligence so you gain a real advantage. And we do it by having the best database in the business. There's over 220 million keywords there across 130 million domains, across 29 regional databases, both desktop and mobile analytics, plus historical data going back to 2012. We've been around for 8 years with 400 employees, and right now over 1 million marketers are using our platform to analyze SEO, PPC, social media, and more. And SEMrush has free plans starting at $99.95 a month. And depending on how many reports you need, how many keywords you're tracking, how many projects you need to create, and so forth. Plus, there's even options for doing custom research at scale via an API, and it can really get very heavy duty depending on what your needs are. Every person who signs up for SEMrush gets a walk through the platform. We'll answer any of your questions, and we want to make sure you have a great start because we really are committed to your success as search marketers. John, back to you.
Yeah, fantastic. That was a really great walkthrough. We appreciate it. And I had one quick question. More of just a general question. In the featured snippets, do you have any quick insights on getting featured in snippets? I thought that was a great suggestion.
Well, certainly in SEMrush, if you're taking a look at the pages that are getting the featured snippets, that's a good start because now you can look at it and start reverse engineering. Well, what is this content? How did they phrase it? Where did it appear on the site? How did they mark it up? So it's kind of a combination of the kind of the syntax and the content of it, as well as the technical side of making sure that it gets Google's attention and at least puts it in the realm of consideration for a featured snippet.
Yeah, and I've been reading a lot lately about like Amazon Alexa and Google Home search-only devices, and I don't know how many people on the webinar have those, but you can say, Alexa, what's the weather, or Alexa, how do I file a patent or for a trademark, or it's not going to come back with everything perfectly, but we're moving into a world where there would be 30 million people with these voice-only devices that really just give you one result. So SEO is becoming so competitive. Now that may be, I think it's about 11% of business searches on things like Amazon Alexa and Google Home. So it's not right now a huge thing to worry about, I don't think. But I would say in the very near future, you're going to just be talking to your TV and getting search results and saying, okay, click that result, play a YouTube video. We're really moving into some pretty advanced and a pretty advanced world. So being an authority, having an authority, your website be authoritative, and having Q&A kind of questions and short answers, long answers, things like you said, you got to look at the competitors that are getting the featured snippets, kind of reverse engineer that, and have content so you're not only coming up top 10 is kind of the old way of looking at it. If the voice-only devices have their way with the world, with deeper artificial intelligence and that kind of thing, you may need to be number 1 or at least say top 5 to get in a featured snippet. So it's just interesting where the whole kind of search world is going.
Absolutely, and with a lot of these voice devices, at least for now, you get one result. That's it.
Yeah.
They're not going to list off 10 of them for you, nor would you probably want to listen to it anyway.
Right. So, tools like SEMrush for that reason are really indispensable. I think the old days of SEO, just put in some title and meta tags and maybe change the keywords on your page are really moving away, further and further into the rearview mirror. So someone said, can we get a copy of the slides? Is that something you can share with everyone?
Sure. Now, obviously, a lot of what I shared was live within the platform. I'm happy to share the slides as well. And also, John, I believe...
Right, a lot of that was a demo, yep. Sorry, go ahead.
I believe you're recording this webinar for people to see later?
Yep, so we'll get that out too. Right, so there's the slides will give you a limited portion with the screenshots and things like that. The demo was actually moving around live, and that was recorded, and we'll do our best to get that to everyone. And are there any other questions from anyone else? Feel free to chime in. What about the APIs? This may not be on the top of everyone's mind, but you can basically create your own SEO tools using the API, or are there other reasons that general users of your software would want to use the API?
Well, it depends on what you're up to. The API is actually, you don't have to be a super rocket scientist to use it. We've got documentation here, and once you understand how it works, you put together these queries that you can put into a Google Sheet and pull data information in that gets updated live. So if you're doing something really custom and really large, I mean, like, for example, we have clients that might be tracking like 100,000 keywords. And then they're going to take that and pipe that into something else. They're going through the platform is not as efficient for them to run that report and download all those keywords into an Excel spreadsheet and then import it somewhere else. They have the API. The data can just go directly through, and it can be shaped however you need it.
That's awesome. I have another this is the silliest, simplest question, but when you're looking at keywords and you're looking at the search volume and the little arrows that you click to get it to resort by position 1, etc.
Mm-hmm.
This is maybe it's just me. When you click the little mini arrows, often it just seems like it won't go. Like it will like if I click the up arrow, I get the opposite of what I'm expecting. Instead of the number 1 results, it goes the other way. Does that make any sense? When you're like, if you put in a domain, if you go to organic positions, this is just a little practical as you're using the tool. So by the search volume.
Right. No, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
The little arrows there. If it just so everyone knows, that's definitely use the resorting feature there.
I'd love to say we're 100% bug free all the time, but I don't think any software company in the world could say that. The other thing is, you'll notice all these little beta stickers all over the place, and everybody now talks about Agile and the idea of like, don't wait till it's perfect. I mean, my gosh. Google had the beta sticker on Gmail for I don't know how long, until they finally took it off, because they said, you know what, let's put it out there, and people will tell us what they like, what they don't like, what needs to be changed or fixed, and we'll just make it better over time based on what people really want, not like plan for 5 years and then release something. So at SEMrush, we've been committed to Agile development since the beginning. We've got a ton of different project teams that all work on different aspects of this. And as soon as something gets to the point that it's ready to put out there, we put it out there. So here we go. Help us improve. Did you find our keyword research reports useful? So I'll say yes. Please share your thoughts with us. The development team is always looking for feedback and what's going on. Down here, there's also an idea, suggestion, or need tech support. So if you run across an issue like that, long way of answering the question, just let us know. And I think you'd be surprised how quickly something might be addressed if there was a little glitch there temporarily.
Yeah, that's awesome. But it just takes me a couple times sometimes. But the ideas you gave us today are just a roadmap and a wealth of information to build your authority, and we really appreciate it. And one person chimed in, said they might like to engage McDougall Interactive. You guys are welcome to email us, and we can certainly chat. And I will point out, however, that even if you do engage us, and this is the reason we have this webinar today, we have a lot of customers that will engage us for doing SEO, but sometimes they're doing content themselves, and sometimes that's the best case scenario is we're doing content, you're doing content, we're both rolling up our sleeves and just really, in order to dominate and have hundreds and thousands of pages and therefore thousands of organic keywords driving traffic, the more the merrier. So absolutely check out the free trial of SEMrush, check it out. And again, a lot of our customers, even when they're working with us, they like to use SEMrush and come up with content ideas for their team. So I want to thank everyone for coming. This was fantastic, and hopefully we'll do another event with Martin in the future. Thank you very much.
Thanks again for having us on.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. Excellent job today. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a great day.
See you guys.